So now I'm evaluating an algebraic expression using multiplication and division. So here are the ways we write a multiplication problem. Now I'm going to start off with the biggest. When we're in algebra, we do not want to do this. Okay, don't use an x. Okay, don't use an x as a multiplication sign because I'm not going to know if it's a variable or if it's multiply. So here's what I do. An asterisk, okay, which is shift 8, or yeah, shift 8 on the keyboard, okay, or just a couple of wavy lines coming on down. That's one way. Another way is a dot. Okay, this is probably the most commonly used one. And then last but not least, or sorry, not last but not least, second to last, we have a letter next to a variable. So when a letter and a variable are smack dab next to one another, that means you multiply. Okay? And then last but not least, when a number is next to another number in parentheses, that also means to multiply. So here we have 8 times n, here we have 8 times 4, x times 2, v times 7. Again, remember, this is a no-no, no x's in here, okay, when we have multiplication problems. So let's see what we're going to do. If we have a multiplication problem, so 4n equals 20, or let's deal with 4n equals 20. So this is a multiplication problem. In order to solve a multiplication problem, I'm always going to divide. So I would do 20 divided by 4. Okay. So everybody, what is 20 divided by 4? And I know you're yelling at your computer screen. 5. Now remember, gotta have n equals 5. It's not just 5. But you gotta tell me what the variable equals. Okay, so n equals 5. So once you give the video a pause, and I want you to try this one all by yourself. Pause it. So here's what I came up with. 65 divided by 5 equals 13. X equals 13. Gosh, Mr. Scrooge, how'd you do that in your head? Well, I know that 5 times 12 is 60, so I just added one more group. That's how I did it in my head. All right, next. So now, if we are missing the dividend, okay, this is the dividend. This is the largest number in the division problem. It's what goes inside the house. Okay, so n, so if I take something, split it into 10 groups, I get 4 in each group. So what am I going to do with the 10 and the 4? You guessed it, multiply. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go 10 times 4 equals, what is 10 times 4? It's 40. So n equals 40. Now here's what I want you to do. Just to make sure that it makes sense, plug it in. Is 40 divided by 10 really equal to 4? Does that equation look right? It does look right, and it is correct. Okay, so now here, so remember, my dividend is the first number. Okay, my divisor here is the second number. That's how many groups I'm splitting it into. Okay, so if I'm missing my divisor, I'm going to divide. So what is 56 divided by 8? Well, it is 7. So x equals 7. Now, here's the thing. So if I'm going to relate this to a multiplication problem, okay, my quotient and my divisor, quotient times the divisor equals the dividend, or the divisor times the quotient equals the dividend. So really, this x and the 8, or this 8 and the 7, they're interchangeable. Okay, so if I take the 7, put it here, and I take the 8 and I put it here, it's the exact same thing. Okay, so that's where the whole fact families come in. So if I do 56 divided by 7, divided by 7, that's also going to equal 8. So you can see that's how my divisor and my quotient are interchangeable, because they're both, in a multiplication problem, they would both be factors. Okay, they would both be factors. So that's how we would solve multiplication and division equations